life missing.
Starting off, we have the new settings menu, where you can configure whether you like to see gore in this mod or not. Onto the features, we first have to visit a place called the laboratory, which is one of the many structures you can find in this mod. The structure is made up of 4 rooms, an entrance-like room that is set up with poison traps and contains cardboard boxes, a hallway with 2 doors, and the sign indicating the room names, the server's room with server blocks and more boxes, and the experiments room with a giant cube containing a missing texture block, and also a couple of new miscellaneous blocks, like the compressing table and the exchanger. There's also a few golden blocks hidden behind the giant cube for you to snatch. In the cardboard boxes, you can find items such as compact discs, aka a CD, which when pressed shift on will show possible exchanges, missing items, server keys, and normal vanilla items such as sticks and iron, for example. On the compressing table, you can compress either 3 missing items to get an aberration of an item, which is used to craft default cubes and spheres, and with 3 server keys, you can get a third-party key. With the exchanger, you can exchange compact discs for several items, mostly coins, which will be a useful currency for another block, cheese, server blocks, missing items and blocks, sweeper spawn eggs, cassette tapes, and more. The cassette tapes can be played on a radio. With cheese, you can craft several types of varied blocks, and in the future updates, you will be able to use this for a new friend. Server blocks, as of now, don't hold any use, but might be used to create your own server doors. More on that in a bit. With missing blocks, you can create a bunch of variations of them, but you can also create new blocks such as dev blocks. They will be found in a lot of other structures probably. There's also other certain items you can craft aside from what you get in the structures, like the wrench that holds no use at the moment other than a recipe item for the offsetter, which is crafted along with default cubes and spheres and used to hold mobs and throw them wherever you want. Or just a gravity gun for all you nerds. Then we have the killing mace, which is the 1.20.1 version of the mace that depending on the velocity and jump height will deal more damage. Then we have the crowbar, which will be used by certain mobs, we'll address in a bit, and has a good knockback range. There's another block too called the dealer, which can't be found anywhere, but will soon, just like the exchanger, be craftable. With the dealer, you can use the coin currency I mentioned before to trade the coins for items such as a trumpet with majestic tunes, coffee that gives speed, confetti cannons, cassettes, and a new big step potion. The other structures you can find are either unstable structures or insurgents, which both hold onto a server door that can only be opened with a normal or third-party server key. When opened with that key, 3 non-players will join with a normal one and around 13 with a third-party key. These new mobs hold several abilities when fighting players, like fast punches, jumping around making it super hard to hit them, eating food to heal up, and chat with the player. Upon your death to them, they'll stare at your remains, or upon their death, these non-players will drop missing items and rarely compact discs. Entering the grounds of the Triple S or Sweep, Sell and Start Over segment, we have a new structure made of dev blocks called the shooting range that consists of 6 rooms. We have a no texture block room, maze room, cheese and nether wart room, shooting range room, and the main room with walls and blockades blocking potential attacks from the mob that roams this structure, the sweeper. This creeper-like mob will keep on shooting their targets with a very fast rate. In this structure you can also come across a new painting. There's also another new weapon called the Sensword, which can do a lot of damage to mobs and when held will censor all entities around you and turn your view to monochrome. Now we'll be introducing another new mob, the Rat, which will be able to spawn deep underground or in strongholds. It loves cheese and is neutral towards the player. When it comes to the new complex update, it is indeed very complex. There were a lot of different dimensions included, but some might be scrapped or limited, like the store dimension that it was made of a bunch of store aisles and storage units, and the parking lot, which didn't seem that useful, but had towering lamps. The dimensions are now called servers too, and will soon be found in structures with a lot of doors where each of those require the same type of key, so sort of like dimensional doors. There are confirmed ones too. So far, we've got the furniture store, the ball pit with the reintroduction of the joy-starved, the middle, which contains an infinite amount of floating rooms around a wide void, like this one skyblock island, and most importantly, the archives. The archives are these giant endless areas with never-ending rows and columns of sorting cabinets filled with items like wood, paper, name tags, aberrations of an item, boxes, missing items, coins, sorting cabinets, and scramblers. Scramblers are used to give mobs new skins, from common scramblers to uncommon ones and rare ones. For the rat, we have the Zombivite and Corrodent skins for the rare scrambler, a monochrome and bioluminescent skin for the uncommon ones, and different face expression skins for the common ones. For the non-players, we have zombie skins for the rare, null, monochrome, black and yellow, and white and green for the uncommon skins, and lastly, under detailed and 2 detailed variants for the common ones. Welcome to the Alpha World. Enter through another server door with a normal server key. You will end up in a cobblestone box with a chest consisting of bread, a bed, and pearls to make your way down safer. Since the box is high up in the sky, Alpha is basically an alternate version of the overworld. Inside, you can beat the game from it as well, since it has its own nether dimension called the slip and end counterpart. That will be accessed in a different way unlike the original versions. In this new paradise, you can come across several of the old generation features like the old light green grass fields, forests with new hillside generations, ponds of water, lakes, empty seas, caves ranging in size from very small to large ones. There's a hellish layer near the -Y levels which are filled with mobs and is made of hellstone. In these certain parts of the caves you can also have tendril-like generation features. The dimension has its own ore too, Veil, which is basically gold but better. You can make blocks, food, armor, tools, the list goes on. There's plenty of structures you can also come across which sometimes have loot in them, like dirt huts, player bases, pillars to indicate players their home, random torches, missing chunks, corrupted trees. Mobs in this dimension would consist of your average zombies and spiders, along with skeleton counterparts called veins, which are hellish red horned skeleton-like creatures, cleepers, which are clay variants of creepers that don't give you a warning about when they'll explode, and the Doomwad. As for content that isn't in test phase yet, Brick Creepers, Cities, and Pedestrians will both come with remastered versions. Where did I get the steak from? There's no cows, so it must...